12.5 talks about matters that do not affect the auditor's opinion. So, ano nga ba ito? Sa video na to, tatalakayin natin ang modification of an auditor's report containing an unqualified opinion. Again, an audit opinion is a certification that accompanies the FS, and an unqualified opinion indicates the auditor's satisfaction in all material respect with the matters. And to recall, remember that an auditor's report is considered to be modified in two different situations. Number one is the matters that do not affect the auditor's opinion, which would mean adding an emphasis of a matter paragraph. Second is the matters that do not affect the auditor's opinion. So, these are the instances that call for either a qualified opinion, disclaimer of opinion, or adverse of opinion. What I'll be discussing with you is the first situation called matters that do not affect the auditor's opinion. In certain circumstances, an auditor's report may be modified by adding an emphasis of a matter paragraph to highlight a matter affecting the financial statements. And emphasis of matter paragraph are made if you want to raise an attention or you want them to pay attention on a specific matter. These paragraphs are presented in order to help the readers of the financial statements understand the financial statements as well as the auditor's report. The addition of an emphasis of matter paragraph does not affect the auditor's opinion. The paragraph should follow the opinion paragraph and state that the auditor's opinion is not qualified by this. Sinasabi lang dito na yung auditor's report, pwede siyang i-modify by adding an emphasis of matter paragraph. And the emphasis of matter paragraph, once again, does not affect the auditor's opinion that the financial statements are free from any misinterpretations. Kumbaga, dinadagdag lang to para ma-highlight or mabigyang pansin yung certain matter affecting the financial statements. And usually, kasunod to ng opinion paragraph regarding the financial statements. And this emphasis of matter paragraph should also state na yung audit opinion is not qualified by this. So, later on, I will show you some illustrations or some sample wordings in an emphasis of a matter paragraph. So, next is the ordinarily, an auditor might write an emphasis of a matter paragraph if there is a significant uncertainty which may affect the financial statements and the resolution of which is dependent upon future events pa. And second is to highlight a material matter regarding of a going concern problem and other matters. So, no need to discuss this on this slide because we will talk about it further one by one. So, first is the uncertainties in the emphasis of a matter paragraph. These are matter of uncertainties na pwedeng maka-affect sa financial statements and hindi pa alam if makaka-apekto nga ba talaga ito sa financial statements at kung material or immaterial ba ang effect na to since the resolution is dependent upon future events pa. So, the examples are that might emphasize include the existence of related party transactions, important accounting matters occurring subsequent to the balance sheet date, and matters affecting the comparability of financial statements with those of previous years. Ang example nito ay ang change in accounting methods. So, here is our first example, which is an illustration of an emphasis of a matter paragraph for a legal uncertainty in an auditor's report. Ang sabi lang dito, the company is facing a pending lawsuit at yung magiging outcome daw ay hindi pa ma-determine and also no provision has been made in the financial statements. And even though wala pa siyang effect sa FS, mahalaga pa rin na isama to sa audit report kasi yung magiging result ng lawsuit may materially affect the financial statements. And for the next illustration, it is regarding the change in accounting methods which falls under matters affecting the comparability of financial statement with those of previous years na nabanggit ko kanina, 'di ba? So, sabi dito, These audit reports containing an unqualified opinion also indicates implicitly that any changes in accounting principle or in the method of their application or their effect have been properly determined and disclosed in the financial statements. So, other uncertainties, depending on their materiality and a country's laws, may lead to a modification of the unqualified report or a qualified report or disclaimer. The examples are the outcome of major litigation and the outcome of long-term contracts, estimate of recoverability of asset values, and losses on discontinued operations. So, if an entity refuses to make a necessary amendment to information accompanying the financial statements, and when there are additional statutory reporting responsibilities, the report may also be qualified. So if the uncertainty is significant and material and not adequately disclosed in the notes, the auditor may wish to issue a qualified opinion or a disclaimer of opinion. So next is the going concern emphasis of matter. As you know, going concern principle, you assume that your company will run in the foreseeable future. So, the going concern assumption is one of the fundamental assumptions underlying preparations of financial statements. ISA 57027 establishes standards and provides guidance on the auditor's responsibilities regarding the appropriateness of the going concern assumption as a basis for preparing financial statements. And when a question arises regarding the appropriateness of the going concern assumption, the auditor should gather sufficient appropriate audit evidence to attempt to resolve the question regarding the entity's ability to continue in operation for the foreseeable future. And yung auditor, kailangan niya i-evaluate yung na-gather na evidence to test whether there are material uncertainties or kung may kakayahan pa ba talaga sila to continue for a foreseeable future, and it also needs to be disclosed in the financial statements. So, by that, we will discuss the going concern disclosure. After the auditor has carried out the additional procedures deemed necessary, obtained all required information, and considered the effect of the management's plans, he should determine whether the questions raised regarding going concern have been satisfactorily reserved. So, titignan ng auditor kung yung uncertainty na yun ay material ba or hindi. And if the issues are resolved, sa going concern assumption, sa going concern problem, and if may adequate disclosure, the auditor may issue a report that contains unmodified opinion on the financial statements with a separate section, material uncertainty related to going concern. So, if the going concern questions are not resolved, the auditor must adequately disclose in his report the principal condition that raised doubt about the entity's ability to continue in operation in the foreseeable future. So, the disclosure should describe the principal condition that raised doubt, state that there are doubts about going concern, and state that the financial statements do not include any adjustments related to the recoverability and classification of recorded assets amounts or to amounts and classification of liabilities that may be necessary should the entity be unable to continue as a going concern. Now, let's look at this illustration which provides sample wording for going concern emphasis of matter. So, ito yung auditor's unqualified report with going concern emphasis of matter paragraph. So, in this illustration, nakikita ni auditor na pwedeng hindi na makapag-continue ng operation si company in the next period or so dahil nag-incur na siya ng net loss at mas mataas na ang kanyang liabilities compared sa asset. Halimbawa na dito yung mga companies na na-bankrupt during this pandemic. So, mahalaga na ma-identify at ma-disclose sa audit report yung going concern ability ng company para ma-notify yung mga maapektuhan like the creditors and the investors of the company. So, if the entity insists on using the going concern basis accounting in presenting its financial statements, kahit na alam na wala na sila kakayahan to continue as going concern, magiging misleading na ang financial statement. So, if adequate disclosure is not made in the financial statement, the auditor should express a qualified or adverse opinion as appropriate. For the next sample wording and illustration, ito naman yung auditor's qualified report for non-disclosure of going concern problem. So, sabi lang dito sa illustration na to, it talks about when an auditor's report containing a qualified opinion is called for because of non-disclosure of going concern problem. Instead of presenting or adding an unmodified emphasis of matter paragraph on going concern problem, the auditor should issue a disclaimer of opinion sa audit report. Ayun lamang po. Maraming salamat.